The film kicks off in the year 1050, as a fleet of Viking ships set sail towards a Norman monastery for a raid. Despite the monks' pleas, the Vikings forcefully enter a concealed chamber, anticipating valuable treasure. Contrary to their expectations, they stumble upon a hidden wolf cub behind a locked door. In lieu of the expected gold and silver, the Vikings decide to bring the cub with them to Norway. However, upon reaching the Norwegian coast, the wolf turns hostile, slaughtering all the men and fleeing into the wilderness. Fast-forwarding 1,000 years, the narrative shifts to Thalberg, a 17-year-old residing in the Norwegian town of Nybo with her family. They have recently relocated due to her mother Liv's transfer to the local police force, following the death of Thale's father a few months prior. Thale harbors indirect blame towards her mother for her father's demise, and has a strained relationship with her stepfather, Arthur. The only familial bond she maintains is with her deaf younger sister, Jenny. While enjoying a horror movie with Jenny, Thale's high school friend Jonas shoots her a text, inviting her to a party in the wooded area near the bay, where many of Nybo's youths plan to gather. After notifying her stepfather, Thale sets off on her bicycle. Upon arrival, she engages in conversation with Jonas, prompting jealousy from another schoolmate, Elin, the mayor's daughter, who pulls Jonas away for a private chat. Feeling sidelined, Thale decides to leave the gathering early. On her way back, she unexpectedly encounters Jonas and Elin conversing in the woods near the bay. Suddenly, a shadowy figure attacks Elin, inflicting severe injuries. Jonas flees in panic, leaving Thale to rush to Elin's aid, but she herself sustains a shoulder injury as the mysterious creature strikes. Amidst the chaos, Elin is dragged deeper into the woods, tragically meeting her demise. Sometime later, emergency services swarm the scene, tending to Jonas and Thale as the local police, under the direction of Thale's mother and police chief Eilert, commence their investigation. Despite their efforts, the search for Elin only yields a blood-soaked cell phone and a sizable torn claw. That evening, Liv delves into internet research on the claw's characteristics, leading her to suspect a wolf may be responsible for the attack. The subsequent day sees the police questioning all party attendees, including Jonas and Thale, who serve as primary eyewitnesses. However, none have a clue about the nature of the creature that assaulted them. Meanwhile, Elin's mutilated body is discovered deeper in the woods and sent for autopsy. The examination highlights the ferocity of the attack, indicating a large assailant, though confirming if it was indeed a wolf remains elusive. The forensic expert notes the significant distance the creature dragged Elin, with noticeable missing flesh. In an effort to identify the creature, the police enlist the aid of an expert from the veterinary college, William, to assist in their investigation. At the police station, an enigmatic one-armed man named Lars seeks an audience with the chief of police, catching Liv's attention instead. He passionately insists that the creature responsible is a werewolf, a hybrid of human and wolf, claiming to have dedicated his life to tracking it across Scandinavia. Lars details the creature's habits, citing its emergence during full moons and its insatiable hunger for human blood. Despite his conviction, Liv dismisses Lars as a drunken storyteller, refusing to entertain his claims. In a surprising gesture, Lars hands her a silver bullet, adamantly stating its necessity as the sole weapon capable of killing the beast. Later that evening, Jonas requests a meeting with Thale at a restaurant, expressing remorse for involving her in the tragic incident. Thale consoles him, asserting that blame shouldn't rest on anyone for what occurred. Following their conversation, Thale encounters Elin's friends, who unfairly accuse her of cowardice and failing to aid their friend. Distraught by their accusations, Thale departs on her bicycle, heading home. Concerned by Thale's distressed state, Liv attempts to initiate a conversation, but Thale rebuffs her attempts to communicate. The following day, William, the veterinary expert, arrives at the police station to conduct a thorough examination of Elin's remains. Based on the victim's injuries and the claw evidence recovered from the scene, William determines that the assailant is an abnormally large wolf. Armed with this critical information, Liv and Eilert mobilize a hunting team determined to track down and eliminate the creature responsible. As they delve into the woods, led jointly by Liv and Eilert, the hunting force initiates their search aided by a tracking dog. Their exploration leads them deeper into the forest, where they stumble upon a headless corpse, identified as an asylum seeker. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Liv calls for reinforcements. Assigning 2 hunters to guard the body until backup arrives, she leads the rest of the team forward. Continuing their exploration, they chance upon an abandoned cave. Liv, sensing a potential lead, cautiously ventures inside. Her investigation reveals a dark mineshaft with a descending ladder. As she navigates downward, she's momentarily startled to find the missing head of the previously discovered body. Amidst the hunt, the guards stationed by the corpse are startled by a menacing roar. Before they can react, the creature launches a surprise assault, claiming their lives in an instant. The team, alerted by the screams, faces the imminent threat as the creature swiftly closes in. Tragically, 2 more members fall victim to the creature's attack, leaving Eilert gravely wounded. In a rush to escape, Liev climbs out of the mine, only to confront the creature at the top of the ladder. The shocking revelation unfolds, confirming the creature's identity as a wolf. It lunges, causing Liv to stumble back into the mineshaft, injuring her wrist and causing her to cry out in agony. Faced with imminent danger, she crawls away from the advancing wolf, managing to grab her gun and fires. Yet the bullet seems futile against the creature's resilience. With her ammunition depleted, Liv finds herself defenseless against the relentless predator. In a desperate moment, she recalls the silver bullet Lars had given her. Swiftly loading it into her gun, she takes aim and fires, ultimately putting an end to the creature's terror. The next scene finds Liv awakening in the hospital, her injured wrist set in a cast. Amidst the aftermath, Eilert remains in a coma, while the rest of the hunting party tragically perished. Meanwhile, Thale finds herself grappling with peculiar dreams and haunting visions, plunging her into significant mental distress. During a school day, her auditory senses inexplicably sharpen, allowing her to discern even the faint sound of Jonas sketching with his pencil. This unnerving occurrence drives her to hastily seek solace in the restroom, only to hear a weeping voice emanating from behind a closed door. Approaching cautiously, she encounters the apparition of Elin, blaming her for her demise. Yet the figure dissolves into nothingness, revealing itself as a hallucination. Later that night, Thale finds herself sleepwalking, but fortunately, Jenny intervenes, guiding her safely back to bed. The following day, William conducts a thorough examination of the wolf's body in the laboratory. His analysis delivers a sobering revelation to Liev. Standard lead bullets, despite hitting vital organs like the heart and lungs, had no impact on the wolf. The fatal blow that ended the creature's life was the single silver bullet fired by Liv in the decisive moment. Liv's realization that the creature was indeed a werewolf leaves her in shock. That night, Thale, still grappling with her unsettling experiences, receives a text from Jonas proposing a meeting. Intrigued, she sneaks out of her house and meets him at a scenic viewpoint. In the course of their conversation, Thale opens up to Jonas about the overwhelming fear she's been experiencing since the traumatic incident. Jonas, attempting to provide solace, encourages her to move beyond the ordeal, assuring her that the threat has been eradicated. As their exchange progresses, the atmosphere becomes charged with romance, culminating in a shared kiss. However, their moment of intimacy takes a dark turn when Jonas steps away to answer a call from his father. With her gaze fixed on the full moon, an ominous trigger for werewolf transformations, Thale begins feeling an escalating unease. Gradually, she undergoes a transformation into a more animalistic version of herself, complete with sharp teeth and instinctual behaviors. When Jonas returns to her after the call, he finds her on the ground. In the midst of her attempts to warn him, she loses control and tragically ends up taking his life. Thale wakes up in her garage, horrified to find blood on her face and a gruesome discovery. She regurgitates a piece of her friend's finger, a grim indication that she devoured him in her transformed state the previous night. With no memory of the events, she's deeply disturbed and heads to the viewpoint, only to find the police removing Jonas's mutilated body. Following an examination by William, it's concluded that Jonas suffered injuries akin to those of Elin, but caused by a smaller creature. This realization adds to the growing unease gripping the town. Determined to understand more about werewolves, Liv seeks guidance from Lars, who grimly explains that once a person undergoes the transformation, they lose all traces of their humanity. He elucidates that the sole method to break the curse is to eliminate the entire bloodline of werewolves. Meanwhile, Thale, realizing the threat she poses to those around her, resolves to leave. However, while on a bus, fate takes a dire turn. Unbeknownst to her, the full moon emerges from behind the clouds, triggering her transformation into a complete, uncontrollable wolf. In the aftermath of Thale's transformation on the bus, chaos ensues as she attacks other passengers, causing the vehicle to crash in a tunnel. Liv, responding to the scene, encounters survivors fleeing from the wreckage. Armed and cautious, she approaches the bus, finding signs of a brutal attack, but no trace of the wolf. During her inspection, Liv discovers her daughter's torn clothing and her locket. As Liv processes the grim scene, William arrives with startling information. He reveals that the analysis of the wolf's body indicates the presence of human DNA, confirming the existence of an actual werewolf. It dawns on Liv that her daughter has now become the new werewolf. In the subsequent scene, Thale, fully transformed, returns home and encounters Jenny. The two lock eyes, and despite the monstrous appearance, the werewolf seems to recognize her sister. In a desperate attempt to protect Jenny, Thaly's stepfather, Arthur, confronts the transformed Thale, using a lamp as an improvised weapon. Despite his efforts, he successfully takes Jenny to their car and speeds away. Unfortunately, Arthur is bitten by the wolf during the confrontation, resulting in significant blood loss. He eventually loses consciousness behind the wheel, leading to a fatal car crash. As onlookers rush to the scene of the accident to offer assistance, they unwittingly become victims of Thal in her wolf form, falling prey to her relentless attacks. In the midst of this gruesome spree, Jenny, witnessing the horror, bravely approaches her transformed sister, attempting to calm her down. For a brief moment, she succeeds, fostering a semblance of normalcy. However, Liv and William arrive on the scene just in time. William employs a tranquilizer dart to subdue the wolf, while Liv rushes to retrieve Jenny from the perilous situation. Seeking refuge in an empty store, Liv, Jenny, and William desperately attempt to keep the transformed Thale at bay. Liv instructs Jenny to hide behind the counter as they struggle against the relentless werewolf. Suddenly, Lars arrives in his RV, crashing through the store's entrance in an attempt to strike Thal. This reckless maneuver leaves Liv, William, and Lars severely injured, but Thale remains unscathed. In the ensuing chaos, Thale kills Lars and targets Liv. Liv, using her wrist cast as a makeshift shield, manages to hold Thale off as the werewolf bites down on it. Realizing that William is in no condition to help, Jenny takes charge. She grabs a tranquilizer dart and stabs it into her sister's side, ending the attack. In the aftermath, Thaly is confined in an unconscious state at the veterinary clinic. Liv visits her, expressing remorse for not providing proper care. However, recognizing the threat Thaly now poses, Liv reluctantly loads her gun with a silver bullet and places it against Thaly's neck, faced with a difficult decision. And with this, the movie comes to an end. Thanks for tuning in, guys.